All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back upstairs, brought the camera upstairs, and yeah, it's a bit of an update video. I don't have much to show, but I'm going to show you guys a glimpse today of kind of what I've been working on, and yeah, we'll just talk about a few things. So, last time you saw me, I think it was the video I was doing downstairs in the workshop, and I kind of showed off some of these like retro stands, which are like Apple-esque, like old school Macintosh like looking like devices, and that's sort of what I've been kind of tinkering at, and I've been working both on prototypes for those, which I've given some away to friends and family, so I don't have many left, as well as kind of working on the website, not kind of, but working at it. I had like a Wix.com plan that I got like last year, and I tried that, and I didn't like it. It was like WordPress. As much as I want to like things like this, I kind of want to build them myself from scratch. I want to do everything from scratch. It's just my personality. So I dove deep back into the days of my PHP, HTML, CSS coding, and yeah, and kind of got into it. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what I've been working on. And oh yeah, you know what? We should talk about Vinny first. Let's talk about Vinny first, because Vinny is someone that YouTube sped out its algorithm, and I clicked on his link for some reason. I started watching his video, and this video, I'm making this video is most likely because I got inspired by Vinny, because Vinny is starting a new YouTube channel. He's posting every day. I think watch now. He just posted day number 9, and I haven't watched it yet. And Vinny is on a mission to build a boat slash yacht. We're talking about, designing it, building it, just kind of funding it, like all the way beginning to the end, like starting at ground zero. And I really like his spirit. I like, so Vinny, if you're watching this, I feel like the one thing you got going for yourself is like your honesty. At least it feels like you're honest, and the way you're talking. You're not trying to you're not trying to teach. A lot of these YouTube channels, and I'm guilty of this myself. A lot of times I feel like I don't have content. I'm like, oh, no one's gonna care about my life, but I can make a tutorial on this, and that's kind of what I've been doing. And then watching you, I've realized, I'm like, you know what? Like, look at this guy. He's got a dream, which we all have, and he's just documenting his progress of getting there. And so this really inspired me, because like even bringing a camera up, like just bringing a camera upstairs and hooking it back up from the garage, I was like, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna take some time, but like, yeah. So if you guys are interested in supporting a brand new channel, it's about Vinny. It's at ISABOUTVINI. Please give him a follow. Give him a like, whatever you can. So far, he's been a cool dude. So yeah. And Vinny, this one's for you, because I know you mentioned animation and possibly like paying someone, like hiring a freelance animator. I would say for now, don't do it. At least give yourself like 90 days, because you can probably, like, I saw you were using like DaVinci Resolve. You can probably pick up some of those, like a pack, like an animation transition pack, like some of those. But I wouldn't worry too much about the logo, because that's not what your channel's at about right now. At least that's not what like gravitated me to your channel. And I think I am your first subscriber, so you should, if you listen to anyone, listen to me, man. Keep that going. Keep that honesty going, and I think that's like that's your thing right now. That's your thing. I think like if I see, or if people might come in and they might see like something more pro looking, it actually might scare them away, because I guess there's no, that's not the important part at this point. Plus, in about 90 days, like 3 months or half a year, you might like doing certain things, and you might dislike doing certain things on video. Like your content might switch a bit, and then you might be like, oh man, I just spent like $500 on that, but now I got to do it again because I'm switching my branding, or I'm switching whatever, right? So just give yourself some time, because I think right now you're in a really good place. And yeah, and I appreciate what you've been doing. Really, like it's really good stuff. Really good stuff. Keep it going. And the one thing you mentioned, I think it was in this video, was about, which I found very true, was about like not seeing progress. And I'm the same way, like I am the same way, that a lot of times I'll put myself on camera, even put myself on YouTube, which I assume is sort of what you're doing, because then you have to deliver. It's almost like making a bet with yourself, and I love that. Like I love, like, hey, I want to build this, or I want to make this, or I want to get to here. I'm gonna tell the world about it, because that not only is gonna motivate me. Like, I'm not afraid of failure, because I barely give up. If something goes on a back burner, it goes on a back burner. But it's great to like set goals and expectations and then and go for it. The problem, as you mentioned, was that it is very difficult to see daily progress, which I completely agree with you on. And I I have a Excel spreadsheet that I keep for every day that is just dedicated to like my side project, like my like the overall goal, and I try to do at least 1 hour to 2 hours towards whatever it is that I'm working on. It could be even like going to the store and picking up a tube of paint for my one of my paintings. That's good enough. Like that I'll put that. I'll see like, oh, the drive took me like 15 minutes each way. Whatever, I'll mark it as 30 minutes. And my goal is to get to uh, well, my goal is to do a full year. 2 hours equal a day in this little sheet of mine. So like 2 hours of progress towards whatever I'm working on count as one day, and then I want to get a full year in, and then I'll feel like, okay, let's see where I started at nothing to like after a full year, uh, and we'll see where we're at. But that's kind of how I deal with it. How I deal with this kind of progress, because I have days where I just don't feel it. I don't feel like I'm making progress, or it just feels like you're walking in mud or something, like you're barely moving. But even inching is good. But with that said, uh, Vinny, again, people, whoever's watching, is about Vinny. Cool channel. Give him a view, even if you're not about boats and stuff. I'm actually, I get seasick a lot, but there's something like about like submarine movies that I enjoy. I enjoy like sailor/wartime movies. Like there's something about the sea and about the water that just pulls me in. So maybe that's why I gave this a shot. But I'm glad that I did, and you got my support. Keep it going, and yeah. That's about it. Now onto some of my stuff. So you guys saw that I was working on these retro stands for like. It started off as me trying to buy a old school Macintosh and retrofit it to put an iPad into it, just as like a showpiece on the shelf. And then I started like I had issues with that, and then I started downloading some 3D models and I had issues with that, and I decided to like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna learn CAD because I'm from a 3D world, right? I have it wasn't hard for me because I Blender, Maya, like I'm good with all those package softwares for kind of for CGI. So I downloaded I forgot, I think it was stable whatever stable, I forgot because it's on Windows. It's on my Windows machine, which I barely use these days. And then I decided to try this program Plasticity, and I really enjoyed it. So I started to make these things, and there was a lot of like trial and error. You guys can see like right yesterday I coded up this gallery. I'm still working on it right now. I have to optimize some things, but like you can see like all the stuff that I kind of went through, or you will be able to see once I finish it, because there's a lot of like trial and error, kind of like trying to lose certain little lines when it comes to like 3D printing stuff. Also, like deciding in how many pieces they should be printed in, because printing in one piece, I ran into some issues, which I will probably discuss in some videos. Even painting little emblems, like I no longer use this. Even designing the emblem, right? I no longer use this design, but this was pretty cool. So that's actually me looking through like a magnifying glass, and then I had like trying to take nice photos of it. By the way, the Apple iPad mini version has an Apple Pencil holder up top, and yeah, here's the Switch version. And so I actually don't have any right now. Well, that's a lie. I have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, but I have this one is in my garage as my that's kind of like what's jamming in my garage, and I really enjoy using it because it works really great with a keyboard and mouse/trackpad. So it whoever sees it, they really like it. And there's one I did for my daughter for her old school Nintendo Switch. That's why you have these black bezels, because the new OLED Switch kind of goes right up to the edges. But that's how the original non-OLED Switch looks. With it's got a little bit of a spacer here. But yeah, it's sort of that's kind of what I've been working on. So I've been coding this website from scratch. I first I wanted to use Shopify, and then which I have with my friend because we have like a T-shirt business going. We've been using Shopify on that, and doesn't really I'm not a fan. So I tried last year. I got Wix, and it was like Black Friday or something. So I picked up a Wix subscription. I never used it. Uh, I did sort of start using it, and we'll get into it in a minute. But I decided to code this from scratch, so kind of got back into things. I ended up using PHP because that's what I grew up on back in the day, like 20 years ago, and I'm still getting back into it. But I'm using PHP. The framework I'm using for PHP is Laravel. I quite like it. It's got this templating system called Blade, which is really great. Uh, I can reuse a lot of things. I can make it very modular. The database I'm using is SQLite in this case, and we'd be like, why the hell do you need a database? Well, my friends, because I coded myself. I joined the wait list because these things take a long time to make. So I assume I'll make like one or two a month. So, but whatever, it's a side project, you know. And then so like everything in here is it was made by me from scratch, pretty much. For CSS, I started off with Bootstrap, and then I switched over to Tailwind CSS, which I love now. It's everything's inline, and if anyone's nerdy here and wants to talk code, I can make videos about it. It is really, 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 really cool, and I don't think I could ever go back. And then so this is the one, right? Yeah, the Alpine Green, which I changed the name to Turtle Green because it really looks like a turtle shell. And I was making animated commercials for this, which I will showcase to you guys pretty soon. They're quite funny. They are quite funny. I'll probably do a video coming up about that. And yeah, and then the other one, sorry, it's made by Greg, which is here, is the website I started working in Wix for my portraits. But I'm gonna remake this one in Laravel slash PHP as well. And I just want the control that I want. Like it's really difficult. Like if I jump into one of these, I'm not sure if it'll show it. It's just I don't like the way this looks. I mean, not that I'm gonna make it much different because mine's gonna be probably very similar, but I don't know. There's it's actually looking better now. The font is looking a little bit better now. But so see they did something because I was having like this anti-aliasing issue with the font, and it's just yeah there's like a login. I don't want my users having to log in, or my customers. I do simple stuff. I don't want people signing up for stuff, right? I just like, hey, we like your stuff. Let us support you by purchasing a portrait or something, right? So I'm gonna redo everything manually from scratch. As you can see, I'm still using like the Wix like template here. um, but I'm gonna redo this. Everything's gonna be this. Is gonna be project number two. So retro stance is gonna be project number one. Made by Greg is gonna be project number two. We're gonna get rid of everything. We're gonna go with Stripe for direct checkouts, kind of like I think right here. So like if we were trying to check out, it'll take us to Stripe directly. Where I know I only have like one item, and then it's in test mode at the moment, so you couldn't even buy it if you wanted to. So nothing's connected. But again, I just wanted to share with you guys what I have been tinkering with as of late. And then there's a couple of other projects. Like if we go into this one, like this view, you guys can see the little scientist on the bottom, sort of talking as I'm talking. So I'm making an app for Mac OS in Swift that does exactly this because I put this together in OBS manually, and it was a pain in the ass. But at the same time, I'm like, it looks so fucking cool. Let me do this. Like this could be utilized as an app. Uh, so I'm working on that. So a lot of times when I'm streaming, you guys will see me working on this app, and then following this because so I will be using a library called SpriteKit, which is like a gaming library. It's a rendering library for 2D whatever. It doesn't have to be for games, but if you guys know SDL, which is just widely known, it's very similar, but it's supported by Apple, the SpriteKit that is, and you can use SpriteKit in Mac apps. Like it doesn't have to be a full screen app or like a window thing. Like you can now they have like a little SpriteKit container. So I'm gonna try to update that tool that you guys saw that in the bottom corner with the scientist. So the thing that I'm working on, I'm probably gonna call it Yap app or something like that. We're gonna rewrite that using some SpriteKit, and because of that, we're gonna definitely veer over and do a little mini game. And I'm thinking of doing Ski Free for that because it's I remember from my days on Windows back in the day. And I recently actually reached out to the Ski Free guy because he's making a new version. He mentioned in September, and I accidentally just ran across it that he's working on Ski Free too. So yeah, hopefully something comes from that. I actually lent my support in case he needs it. It would be great to be involved in some way, even if they let me like draw one tree or something. But if not, we're gonna code our own thing. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. At least those four, and there's a few different projects that I have. Like I'm helping my daughter write program and write just coding. She's interested in coding, and she's using Scratch. There's like this program called Scratch for Kids where you can use nodes where you connect like do this and loop this 5 times and do that. And me and her started working on her website, which is actually I'm not that's not finished yet, but I'll share that on some of the future videos where she's sharing her stories. And yeah, like for a 7 year old, she's doing really great. She's doing really great. And my wife is doing really good right now. As you guys know, she's battling cancer, and we're finishing radiation this upcoming Wednesday, which is huge because even from chemo, the chemo didn't hit her as hard as radiation did, but she's still technically coming off of the chemo because we stopped chemo about like 6 weeks ago or something like that, 6 or 7. I don't even know. Yeah, about 6 weeks ago, 6, something like that. And time flies by so quick now, but it takes about like 10 to 12 weeks for it to actually stop working. It's a very delayed process. Even when we used to go to get the chemo, what do you call it? It's not a session. It's like not a process, whatever. Where we went to get that done, it's like a 3 day delay till it hits you. Like we went on Wednesdays, we would go every Wednesday, and then it wouldn't be till like Friday that she would start feeling it. I mean, it would be weird because they give you steroids, so she couldn't sleep like the day of the chemo. So if we went on Wednesday, she couldn't sleep from Wednesday to Thursday. It would be like a 24-hour thing. Like it doesn't matter what you do, you just can't fall asleep. But you feel okay. Like you wouldn't feel any different until Friday, and like Friday to Saturday is when it starts kicking your ass. But again, she dealt with it quite amazingly. We're very fortunate because there was people there. You go to this, and here I am talking about chemo again, but you go to these treatment centers. Treatment is the word I was looking for before, and it's not like you have your own room. It's kind of like if you see like people on dialysis, like it's just like this long room and there's a whole bunch of seats, and they just hook you up. Like there's little dividers if you want, but there's a lot of families, and there's like we saw a kid maybe in his very early 20s because he was talking about he just got into college. I overheard him talking to the nurse. He couldn't get in, and I have no idea what cancer he had. They don't tell you. Obviously, everyone's got their own privacy issues and whatever, but he was dealing with it very hard. Like the minute they would hook him up, you can just hear him start throwing up like immediately. Like it was like he was actually the way I found out about it was because it sounded like he was joking with the nurse. It must have been a new nurse, and he was like five seats down from us. He's like, no, like you didn't do this. I'm gonna throw up. And she's like, oh, stop playing. And she just hooked him up, and right away, just boo. And she's like, I thought you were joking. And he's like, no, no, like it hits me immediately. So yeah, and there was another guy that just kind of like like I guess he would come without like eating or drinking or whatever because you could just hear him like it would just be like his body wants to throw up but there's nothing. It's just like almost like burps. It was from one point of like it's kind of gross, but at the same time you're just looking at like, man, fuck, like these people are really really they're here fighting the fight. And again, that's why I'm saying we are quite lucky considering because Phoebe didn't have to deal with any of these issues. She didn't throw up one time. So yeah, yeah. We're quite. I'm not a religious person, but I would even say we're quite blessed. But yeah, and it's sort of what we've been doing. So as we ramp down, surgery's behind us, chemo's behind us, now radiation is almost behind us. Although radiation is again hitting Phoebe quite hard. Like she can be okay, and then all of a sudden she just looks like like pale with and she can't stand like it almost hits you like immediately for her, and then she has no energy because your body needs to recover. Um, so, and we never know when that's going to happen. So it's a little bit scary. But definitely radiation. You know, it's only a few minutes when the procedure happens. It doesn't hurt, but it definitely has the most impact on her specifically so far. So um, that's coming to an end on Wednesday, and then it's just, we still have to go to the chemo place for a year, but it's not for chemo, it's for a different drug every 3 weeks. So we have to do that for a year, and then a couple of years of like, oral medication. But we are ramping down the hard shit. So the hard shit is going to be behind us, and obviously, there's going to be monitoring and tests and everything. But um, yeah, I don't even know how we went through it and just continued normal life. I don't know, especially because we don't have family here. Both of my parents have passed on, and my brother lives in the state, but we barely see each other. And then Phoebe's parents are, whole families in Taiwan. So yeah, I don't know how we did it, but we did it, and that's why I think we're really blessed because it didn't really affect us as it could have affected us. She could Phoebe kept working. She's crazy. She even worked the day of the surgery after she came out. I caught her on the laptop, and yeah, it wasn't, not, didn't even like take sick days, honestly. So yeah, I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts, but I'm proud of us for, especially her for getting through it like this. But yeah, see, now here I am talking about cancer and stuff. Uh, it's good. We're good. I will keep you guys posted. Thank you for your support, for all the love that you guys have been sending us, and follow the channel, whatever, sub. Some of the stuff's gonna be boring. Some of the stuff's gonna be like personal like this, but I think more and more as we go forward, I'm just gonna kind of shoot the shit to the camera. I know, like my new friend Vinny from Isabel Vinny is doing. So, anyways, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers.